Now let's go to their next one, which was released on September 29th, 2008, called Suicide Season. Am I going first again? Am I going to go first the whole time on this one?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. All right.
This
Well,
is you, sir. This is you were the flagship.
um, so coming off of the heels of Count Your Blessings, it was not, to me, this was a very much nearly extremely similar sounding record to the first one. I felt that it was almost like a copy repeat kind of scenario. Like, hey, if this was successful, let's do it again. You know, that was kind of the vibe I got from it. I this is again, it's not like again, it's a sound on a guitar that I'm not, and a type of vocal that I'm not very fond of. That's putting it nicely. I'm not a fan of it necessarily. That being said, this was the next step up from 8. This was number 7 for me because mainly because it felt like a copy repeat for me. Like it was just like it felt like they said, hey, let's write a brand new set of songs, right? Let's regardless of like lyrics or whatever, like let's make it the same exact sounding record as the debut Count Your Blessings, and then let's go, and then let's, after that, let's just make a brand new record with the same sounds and the same style again. That's the kind of feeling I got from this record. That's why I had to put it so low, because it just felt like copy repeat to me. As someone, and that could be because I'm not super familiar with them. That could be because I'm just not like I mean, it could be a multitude of things. I'm just not a big. I mean, I'm not a. After listening to all of their albums, I'm just not a. I would say, all right, if you're into heavy metal and hardcore and metalcore and all that, then I'd recommend Bring Me the Horizon. If you're not like a fan of that type of music in general, then I would definitely steer away from it if you can, because it might not be for you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you, like, you're Kyle or Mike, but like you, the listener. So to me, I had to put it number 7 because it was just, like I said, just a lot of copy repeat for me. A lot of like, also like, a lot of there were some interludes throughout the album that I'm looking back at now. Like there was this one track here. It says, "No need for introductions. I read all about girls like you on the back of toilet doors," and then it goes into an 8-minute track. I mean, I get that. Like I saw where they were going. I just didn't. It didn't resonate with me as well as I thought it was going to. So that's why I had to put it number 7. That's just me personally. It's just not like, it's not my, like, again, not my style of music whatsoever. I mean, I know we talked last week about Beardfish and going out of like comfort zones and stuff like that. This was diving into the deep end of the pool with weights on your ankles.
Yeah,
so, like this for me, that was like, I've heard the name, I just haven't listened to them, and I gave this a shot, and this is where I'm at. But I'm putting this in number 7. That's just where I'm at. But anyways, let's go. Who went next? Kyle, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I disagree a little bit with this, in that I don't feel like it's the same sound necessarily. I think that they shied more away from that straight up deathcore vibe and went right to, this is where their transition into the more metalcore, standard metalcore sound came in which, if you don't really listen to the genres too much, you won't really distinguish them. So I could see why JT would think that. This one shows a lot more dynamic than the first one did, where, Mike, I completely agree with you. The first record had a lot of that same standard deathcore riff, like that Pray for Plagues thing going on. And that's kind of where that album fatigue hit me towards the like later half of the record. This one I felt like didn't really have that. This also has, JT, if you could scroll down again to the track list. This one also has the song that got me into the deathcore / metalcore genre in general, Diamonds Aren't Forever. Absolutely love that song. First song I ever heard by the band. That's what got me into not only Bring Me the Horizon, but the whole like this side of metal. Before that, I was like Metallica, Bullet for My Valentine, all that kind of stuff. Loved that. This is what got me into the heavier stuff. Always love a soft spot for this record. I think Ollie's voice on here is a big step up in only 2 years from Count Your Blessings. Chelsea's Smile, great chorus. This is where I think they're even on the first record. So this is what's interesting to me about Bring Me the Horizon is even on their first album where they were a just straight deathcore band, what set them apart from other deathcore bands, especially at the time, was that they still had the pop sensibility about them in that they knew how to write a song with a catchy chorus. Like Pray for Plagues, even that has some like catchiness to it. And the first album had a little bit of that. I feel like that was really amplified on this one. So they've always had that kind of pop sensibility to their sound, even if it wasn't sounding pop, it was just in the structure of the songwriting itself. And that's something that really shined here with like Chelsea Smile, Diamonds Aren't Forever. Another standout to me, always loved it. No Need for Introductions. Great little short song. Love the little piano, like elevator music intro to it, and then it kicks in. It's great. But I think that they've done better after this. I think it was a really good. This is where I think they came into their own, and I think it's really good for what it is. Always love a soft spot for it. For me, it's number 6.
All
Right.
Mike, what do you got?
Yeah. And this is where I kind of disagree with you, Kyle, on his voice being a positive thing. If anything, it's where it takes definitely a nosedive for me vocally. His vocals annoy me. I hate when a vocalist talks and screams at the same time. He starts doing that so often, and it is so annoying of a vocal style that he continues on for this album and the next album. And while simultaneously I'm still a fan of the grooves and the metal core element, the vocals really wear me down. I could see myself dropping this album further down the line as time goes by, but for just the immediate what I come to get from this album, it musically it definitely created a lot more of dynamics. I could agree with you on that. It had some more kind of songwriting credibility to it, and it's just I wish there's still some leftover vocals coming off on some of these tracks from that sound like similar to their first Pray for Plagues, like Diamonds Aren't Forever, and then I think if you want to go to the track listing there, JT or whoever's controlling it, Diamonds Aren't Forever, Chelsea Smile, I still got some of those old school vibes, but he began to do this kind of like, I can't explain it. It's just like higher pitched kind of like
More like distorted
talking.
yelling.
Yeah, and I like that. Just not my thing. It almost kind of reminds me of the vocalist from Of Mice and Men, which I don't necessarily hate the vocalist, the previous vocalist, not the current vocalist, but previous vocals had a similar kind of scream yell that just got on my nerves, and I began to kind of get with it, kind of whittled away by it. While it still has some good stuff on it, and still the metal core, and I'm still getting what I expect from Bring Me the Horizon. For me, this was 4 out of 8, and it got a 5 out of 10 for the rating, but it was 4 out of 8 for the overall album. Like some of the droning guitar, I don't know if it's like in the effect or if it's like the tone that kind of you'll hear more of that later on, and still getting what I want from them, but not quite as more of the popular stuff that I like from them. So 4 out of 8 in ranking for the album, and then it is a 5 out of 10 ranking or rating wise, but it's the middle of the road release from them for me.